Ladies and gentlemen, I need for you to put your screen on full view. Please put your screen on full view. This is Ebony Man 2K, aka That Jolly Rancher, aka Pretty Ricky, what they call me, and aka the King of Receipts. I welcome you to my channel with the same name. I would like to send a shout out to my new subs who may have heard about me from other fellow YouTubers. I welcome you, and you are going to enjoy yourselves here. I want to send a special shout out to my loyal day ones who have upgraded their membership and got their badges and or have supported my efforts via Super Chat and Cash App and PayPal. And lastly, shout out to my shadow watchers who listen to me from the bushes or up in the clouds. I understand you may be cooking, driving, working out, or at work, and I appreciate that you're at least here kicking it with me. Also, I would like to send a special shout out to Shakira2K's besties, Kylie Jenner, Sophia Richie, and Kaya Gerber. Well, all right, let's get it. Man, check this out. Now, Tasha K went from hot shit, then Tasha K went to that sugar. Now Tasha K right back to hot shit, y'all. She right back to hot shit. Damn, Tasha. You supposed to be wiping your ass with the cease and desist. What happened, girl? See, what had happened was... Oh, boy. This is Ebony Man 2K, and I welcome you to the channel with the same name. Please put your screen on full view. Please put your screen on full view. So Shakira and I are laying in the bed together, pillow talking. We tend to do this a lot as a way to share our day and experiences with each other as a newly formed and growing couple. I tell her about this new premiere that I'm working on that gives an update on the TASHA K and Cardi B defamation trial. My research involved going to various YouTube channels and websites and joining in on chat discussions about the matter to prepare myself for thorough content and commentary on it today. After I'm done with my part, Shakira tells me she wants to feature a video on her YouTube channel where she showcases her dance moves in a hips don't lie type of presentation. Now, we have not talked about YouTube dance videos before, so as her boyfriend and business manager, I calmly take a deep breath and ask her to explain what I consider to be an unnecessary idea. She does explain, and I inform her that although her idea sounds good, there are some risk and liability associated with making such a move, and that at this point, I didn't think the return on that risk and liability of doing a hips in motion dance video was enough. In other words, the juice was not worth the squeeze. I shared with her a character called Lucy in an old TV sitcom back in the 1960s called I Love Lucy. Now, Lucy was a young, attractive housewife who would always come up with these crazy ideas as a way to get attention from her husband, Ricky, who was also a manager of a band and a nightclub. I thought that Lucy's marriage to Ricky was similar to Shakira's relationship with me. So I shared a clip of the show with Shakira. It is a clip where Lucy bets Ricky that she can easily sneak in his club and perform. Well, after multiple tries, Lucy does just that and eventually gets paid from her bet with Ricky and ultimately steals the show. After the night is over, Ricky is still a little upset with his wife Lucy for sneaking in and taking over the show at his club. So when he gets home, he comes in, he slams the door, and says to Lucy, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. After that clip, Shakira laughed and she said, "Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this. I am like the character Lucy in this show. And Rick, you act like her husband, Ricky Ricardo." Well, I smiled and I simply replied to Shakira, "Well, with this request you're making to do a hip moving dance video on YouTube, Shakira, you got some splaining to do." Segue to the trial of the defamation case against TASHA K by Cardi B. It has been reported that TASHA K has been an awful witness who has perjured herself on the stand multiple times. Also, her legal counsel have been so unprepared and unprofessional that the judge in this case has openly reprimanded them for possible contempt of court and even embarrassed them by suggesting that they go back to their first year of law school. He said this in public court, y'all. The judge said this in public court. So with that being said, it is within reason for me to tell TASHA, "TASHA, you got some splaining to do." Because we the people need some explanation on what's really going on. Now, it almost seemed like TASHA K and her legal team are so bad that she is trying to lose on purpose. I have been to other YouTube channels and been in chat rooms discussing this matter. And the only explanation that we could come up with is that TASHA must be trying to lose this case on purpose so that she can get empathy from current and potential new viewers as a way of making some big comeback and I guess a second chance at life. Well, I hope that isn't the case, because if it is, TASHA K has been short-sighted in her thinking, and I will show you how. In this premiere, I will break down how TASHA K's YouTube feature does not look bright at all, with a cost-benefit analysis of intentionally losing this case for potential gain. I have provided current average daily views and current new subs per day, and her growth in those subs as well. I've also added historical graphs to show her numbers post the Cardi B scandal. In addition, I am featuring commentary on this case in comedic form from the YouTuber Armand Wiggins and commentary from two attorneys that are on the YouTube channel Natalie Lawyer Chick. Natalie Lawyer Chick. Make sure you subscribe to both of these channels after this premiere. Well, all right, let's go ahead and dive into it. This is your boy Ebony Man 2K. Let's get it. Okay, earlier I mentioned how disorganized and unprofessional TASHA K and her legal team looked in this trial. Well, apparently this didn't just start recently. Please look on your screen now. Please look on your screen now. Now, back in June of 2021, TASHA K posted a bad review on her own attorney's profile page. She posted this review right after their team's failure to countersue Cardi B in this defamation case. The judge reviewed the claim from her and her legal team, and it was so bad he threw it out. He threw it out, y'all. Now let's look at TASHA K's posting and see what she says about it. The posting reads as follows. Now again, this is Latasha Kibi posting on June 5th, 2021. And the title of her post is called, "Will Not Use This Attorney Again." This is what she said under that title. "Very disappointed with this attorney. I hired her to represent me in a defamation case, but I would have to seek another attorney. Ogle has on several occasions shown up to the court unprepared and unfamiliar with the facts of the case. She advised me to file a countersuit, which I did, but it is clear now that that was not the best move. After advising me to countersue, She then doubled back and dropped several counts in the countersuit. So why did she advise me to file it in the first place? At the last hearing, she was stuttering and tripping over her words, and it was embarrassing. An attorney is supposed to exude confidence in their client, but it's like she is not fighting to win the case. She's just going through the motions and showing up to court. After paying her thousands of dollars over the past 3 years, this case has been dragging on. I'm no better off. I'm counting my losses and moving on. I would not be using this attorney again. Now, after reading this posting from Tasha K back in June of last year, one would have to ask Tasha, well, what in the hell are you still dealing with this attorney now? Well, I was in the YouTube chat room of the YouTuber named The Lead Attorney, and he spoke on this posting, and he actually broke it down for all of us there. Now, he says that more than likely, Tasha actually did seek another attorney to take over this case. But after Tasha informed these attorneys on the status of her case and the incompetence of her attorney, they probably requested an enormous fee of around maybe $1 million to take over this case. Because in essence, they would be taking on a losing case that would affect their own reputation. And it would take a miracle to turn around it into Tasha's favor. This attorney was pretty sure that Tasha K probably went to 3 attorneys to take over her case, and they all told her the exact same thing. Pay me. Pay me. And I ain't talking about no thousands. I'm talking about millions, bitch. I'm talking about millions, bitch.
We all know Cardi B is a multi-Grammy award-winning, millionaire selling rap artist who has also branched out into other areas like a Reebok deal and things like that. So she has a reputation to uphold because she has celebrity endorsements, thank you, and all that other type of stuff. So what happened with Cardi B is that, okay, we're jumping around here. I like it. So what happened with Cardi B is that she got on the radar of this celebrity blogger by the name of Tasha K, who is here on YouTube. So that's it. You got it. She's a celebrity blogger here on YouTube by the name of Tasha K. And she gets like millions of views on some of her videos. And she covers a lot of like urban media. So, the rappers, the singers, the athletes, like people that are within the hip hop space. She covers a lot of those types of people. And initially, one of the first videos I ever pulled of Tasha K on Cardi B, she was actually very complimentary of Cardi B. I don't know if you know this or not. So she actually liked her and was quoting her music and seemed to be kind of like a fan. And then that video didn't get that many views. But then this young lady by the name of I think Star something, I can't remember it now.
Stormy Jones.
There we go.
The former co-defendant.
The original co-defendant.
Original co-defendant, yeah.
Yeah. Star Marie Jones, who was a former friend, allegedly, of Cardi B, said that she used to be a stripper with Cardi B, who was a stripper in a former life, that they were roommates at one point in time, and she had all this tea on Cardi B. She does an interview on Tasha K's channel, which I find that whole part very interesting, because if someone says libelous, slanderous things on your YouTube channel and you don't know that they're libelous and slanderous, are you really liable for that, right?
I've thought.
Well, it kind of went above and beyond that, because first, Star Marie makes all these allegations about Cardi B, using drugs, having certain diseases, things like that. And Tasha K just does the interview, somewhat straightforward. Oh, this is what you saw. This is what you heard. This is what you observed, so on and so forth. Tasha K then basically picks up the mantle of the allegations made by Star Marie Jones and makes multiple other videos of Star Marie, basically about Cardi B, alleging that she had herpes, saying that she was formerly a prostitute and making allegations that Cardi B's child was going to be born, her first child, Culture, was going to be born with intellectual disabilities because of Cardi B's purported former or present lifestyle. Cardi B sued Tasha K, who is Latasha Transrena Kebby, and Star Marie Jones. Star Marie was eventually dropped from the lawsuit. I would love to know if you have an opinion on why Star Marie was dropped from the lawsuit, because I have an opinion on that, but I was wondering if you have an opinion on that.
I just wondered if they settled.
That's what I thought happened.
I assumed that she probably apologized and was like, I will never say it again. Because what I know from reports and stuff I've looked at is that right when that video happened, Cardi B reached out directly to Tasha K and was like, this isn't true. I don't know her. And Tasha K was like, do you want to come on my channel and do an interview about it? And Cardi B said no. And then Tasha K was like, all right, herpes B, we're off to the races. And just fired it up from there. I wonder if Stormy took a different approach and was like, I'm sorry, I will never say anything again. And there's a private settlement agreement and it just dropped.
I think that's what happened. Yeah, I think there was, because there wasn't a public retraction from Star Marie. Obviously, Star Marie is the less moneyed individual. Okay, so I did some research on Star Marie in my original video. It seems allegedly that she had some criminal history, some issues along that, area herself with some, what looks like she herself has some convictions for prostitution.
Right.
So she might not have had the funds to be able to even fight Cardi B. So she might have laid down, right? Yep. And Cardi B might have thought that it wasn't advantageous to really pursue her.
She could have also shared text messages between her and Tasha K, conversations, retelling of conversations to help Cardi B know where to look and know what else might be out there and help her case. That might have been part of a settlement. It often is in civil cases, or not even that, in criminal cases too. It's like, let me give you the information that I have. Please just let me go away.
Yeah, leave me alone. Let me go away.
Here you go. You want that person to go in.
Fish. Yeah. Yep. So I thought that Star Marie might end up being a witness in the case, but it doesn't seem like that's happened so far. So maybe she won't. Okay. So if we just go down a little bit on the lawsuit itself.
Tasha K could still call her. I just don't see at this point if she will, because the Cardi B side is rested now.
Yeah, Cardi B side is rested. And I just don't think it's a good idea for her to call her.
There's no reason for Tasha K to call her.
No, absolutely not. We can go down to where it says facts, just so people can get a taste of that. Jurisdiction and venue, we can keep going. Facts and background. Okay, so a lot of this had to do with the allegations that she was making about, her motherhood, her health status, things of that nature. Tasha K responded to the lawsuit not only in just saying, "Hey, I respond. I agree with these allegations, disagree with these other allegations." Right? Tasha K responded with her own countersuit. And in her countersuit, she alleged that Cardi B set her fans upon her to threaten her and harass her. And so she was seeking how many millions of dollars from Cardi B?
I don't remember. It was millions.
Yeah, it was millions of dollars she was seeking. And I don't think I got to that part in my video, but let me just say that was a frivolous countersuit, in my opinion.
The judge went, yeet, and then yelled at her lawyers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, as the judge should have. I mean, just like...
And keeps doing.
Tasha K has a really, really bad position. And, okay, so if we're going to talk facts here, let's go to the first YouTube video that I put on my channel. It's the first YouTube video in the chat, Mrs. Kick. There's a couple of minutes in there where I cover the things that Tasha K said about Cardi B, and it'll kind of help you guys to get the context. Some of you probably already know this, but I went and grabbed a lot of the stuff that Tasha K put up before she deleted it, because it was just happening and she was starting to delete stuff. Because at first she said, I'm not deleting anything, but then the lawsuit really revved up and she started to delete stuff. Okay. There is I. Alrighty. There you go. You can skip forward, and once you start to see Tasha moving on the screen, right? I think that was it right there. Hold on. Go forward a bit. I'm sorry. I should have had the exact timestamp, but I lost it in my notes. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Okay. Just go back and hit play from there, because I think
in a civil lawsuit out of the state of California, where I was
free braces.
And I ended up representing myself in that case pro se, which is not
you cannot pause that. No, I was saying, like, go like
So after breakfast time, it is time to take my vitamins. So again, this is a Persona Nutrition. I have to tell you guys about these little packs though. So one thing I never used to think about ever was when I took my supplements, I kind of just took them when I remembered and just thought that was fine. But it's so great because they give you packs that are individually packed and labeled for morning and evening with all the supplements that they recommend for you, so that you know exactly when to take them. It's going to be the most beneficial for your body. And that is so great. Like, you don't even have to think about it. And then not only are like the actual supplements themselves transparent, but Persona as a company is just really clear about where they source all of their stuff. You know you're getting high, good quality vitamins and supplements. And again, they have nutritionists that you can talk to anytime you need if you have questions or if you're wondering if something's like good or not. And I really think you'll be surprised with some of the supplements they recommend. There was a couple in there. I thought I knew a ton about supplements, and there are a few that I had never even heard of that they recommended for me. So go take the quiz. I'll put the link down below for you guys. Definitely recommend.
Oh, Marco's Pepperoni Magnifico. Classic and old world pepperoni on one pizza, and a large is just $9.99 when ordered online? The phrase slice of heaven comes to mind. Marco's. Pizza lovers, get it.
Do you have video clips in here of Tasha K? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I have video clips of Tasha K, and I'm trying to find them. Keep going, Mrs. Kick. Yeah, go past that. That's where I was getting to Star Marie Jones. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Okay. I think you might have. Okay. I just saw her pop up on this. It's right there. Okay, click from there. Great. So just go forward a little bit
of the statement. Here are the facts and allegations that were alleged by Cardi B that have led to this lawsuit. Now, remember, these are just allegations. Where I was able to pull up supporting evidence of these allegations, I have provided it either in the description box or this video itself. She filed this lawsuit in June of 2018, and then later on in December of 2020, she amended it to add more allegations. I'm going to be talking about the allegations contained in both the original complaint and the amended complaint. This is on April 23rd of 2018, Tasha K posted a video and stated that the plaintiff's unborn child may be born with intellectual disabilities.
You need to take care of that baby, because that baby come out with Down syndrome, and I'm already worried about if the baby gonna be able to talk. Well, both of her parents not speaking English, even though they were raised in an English country, and I don't understand why they don't speak English.
Now, Cardi B may have a harder time proving that this statement was either libelous or slanderous or defamation or false light, because this statement was likely a matter of opinion. Tasha K was saying that because of Cardi B's actions, the context of performing and traveling and touring, she was putting her baby at risk. Her baby had not yet been born at this point in time. Whether or not this statement was so outrageous to have caused intentional infliction of emotional distress is a completely different story. But that is how the law applies to this statement.
And if it was a statement of opinion, no matter how offensive, Cardi B will not be able to recover based on this statement for any of the defamation type claims, but she potentially will be able to recover for the intentional infliction of emotional distress.
On September 2nd, 2018, Tasha K posted a YouTube video in which Tasha K alleged that Cardi B, quote, prostituted for a living.
So disclaimer, this video has been removed from Tasha K's YouTube channel. However, Cardi B's attorney states that they have a copy of the video and they provided it in discovery, and it's at the 5-minute and 50-second timestamp. We don't have access to that because it's been sealed. Now, applying the law to the facts, and this will come up quite frequently in this statement of facts, the allegation that Cardi B is or was a prostitute is arguably a statement of fact and not an opinion. Just because Cardi B used to be a stripper, which is a legal activity, does not mean that she was a prostitute, which is an illegal activity and arguably by society standards far more immoral. So when Tasha K repeatedly says that Cardi B is a prostitute, as you'll see later on in this video, a judge or jury could find that she is making statements of fact. And then it is Cardi B's job to prove that she was not or is not a prostitute because it's her lawsuit.
On September 13th, 2018, Star Marie Jones posted an Instagram live video making the statement that the plaintiff, Cardi B, has, quote, got herpes.
And the fact that she got herpes, that's out too.
Now, this statement by Star Marie would be actionable if, in fact, it's not true that Cardi B has herpes. And
Pause
this
it there,
would
Mrs. Kick.
qualify as slander.
So, as Emily knows, Cardi B actually had her medical records disclosed in the case, which proved that
She does not, in fact, have herpes.
so
But
that is
this could have been avoided before trial because the medical records got sent to the court, and the judge reviewed them and says, "I've reviewed them and find nothing helpful to the defense," and encouraged the defense again to try to settle. The judge has tried to encourage the defense to settle time after time after time, just from the minute orders and rulings. I can't imagine that's on the record, in the written record. I can't imagine what the court was saying in court, because that's not on paper. It's like, you should consider settling. In court, that's a counsel. WTF, you need to consider settling.
for the court to even say that on the record where everyone can see it is so significant, guys.
Yeah.
The judge might wink, wink, nod, nod in chambers or ask you to approach and say, what's really going on here?
So, what is up?
What's going on?
Why can't we settle this?
But
What's
to
it gonna
put it
take?
on the record
Multiple times.
Guys, this is, when I made this part 1, I thought, oh, I'm going to definitely have a part 2 to this. But as I was going through it and listening to the different video clips, I was like, well, there's no case here for the, and this is before.
You're like, this isn't going to trial.
I could not believe it went to trial. And then after it got disclosed to the public that Cardi B actually got her medical records to prove she didn't have herpes, which to be fair, I didn't think that was even going to happen because herpes is such a common thing. So
Right.
like, I was like, who's going to put out their herpes status? But she was adamant, I don't have herpes. And guess what? She didn't. You can't do that. You cannot, because that's not a statement of opinion. Okay, so this is where I think some reasonable minds could disagree with me. Where originally my opinion was, when you say the things about the kid, they're distasteful, they're gross, but the kid's not here yet. And so I think the things that you're doing are going to harm your unborn fetus. Having a bunch of performances and dancing a lot and being on tour and, living a rock star lifestyle or a rapper's lifestyle, that's bad for an unborn baby. I think that's BS, but that's that person's opinion. The child is not here yet, so it's just an opinion. Now, if the child was here and you're looking like that child has Down syndrome and the child doesn't,
right.
that's different, but something that's going to happen in the future, I think that that's a fine distinction you can make that that's a statement of opinion, and because the courts are, and again, I'll talk, I think, at the end about this, my personal experience, but the courts are so pro First Amendment. They're so pro you being able to have an opinion on something no matter how distasteful. That's what a lot of the Supreme Court case law says, that they likely wouldn't have punished her for saying that. But saying a factual statement that someone has a disease, a communicable sexually transmitted disease, without proof that that is true, that's pushing up on a statement of opinion.
I was shocked in Cardi B's testimony when she talked about to the fact, to this day, she still gets called Herpes B. Because Tasha K tried to get hashtag Herpes B trending. She would hashtag it when she would talk about it. So it wasn't just this person was on my show, they made this allegation, they said this. It wasn't a re-reporting. She took it and ran it into the ground. And I think in Cardi B's testimony and in the court records, they talk about sending Tasha K 3 cease and desists. Yes. And Cardi B reached out personally.
Yes.
So it's not as if it's like, oh, it seems extreme to go to trial. They did I don't know what else you do as a plaintiff.
No. I mean, I know that right up until the moment they went to trial, she tried to settle it with her.
I'm sure.
And I think for Tasha K, she's done some type of cost-benefit analysis, which I think is incorrect, where she believes that the publicity of this, the eyes on her YouTube channel far, outweighs the drawback of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
I don't know how that works.
Because you can't have good reasoning saying someone has an STD and using that as your marketing for your channel. Anyway.
Well, we'll get to what she said in court, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Yes, no, because that's really where I want you to soar, please. Oh, yes. Okay.
So let's keep going. I love your analysis. I'm with you on all of this.
Okay, let's keep going. This is high praise. Okay, let's keep going.
Because it is alleging that Cardi B has some type of contagious disorder, which is objectionable to the general public. It's right in the statute. So Cardi B has to prove that the statement is not true. Then she has to prove that Star Marie made these comments with a reckless disregard for the truth because Cardi B is a celebrity. So she has to prove that actual additional portion.
End quote. The more Molly pills she would be taking, the more cocaine she would be taking. End quote.
The more Molly pills she would be taking, the more cocaine she'd be taking.
And also, quote, I guess they were supposed to have sex in exchange for money. End quote. Alleging that Cardi B was a prostitute.
Yes, they were supposed to have exchange sex for money.
On September 13th of 2018, to the following written comments saying that Cardi B was, quote, just a Grammy-nominated prostitute running around spreading herpes.
Jesus Christ.
I could not independently verify this because Star Marie has completely scrubbed her Instagram and almost all of her social media presence.
They were supposed to have exchange sex for money.
On September 13th of 2018, to the following written comments saying that Cardi B was, quote, just a Grammy-nominated prostitute running around spreading herpes.
Jesus Christ.
I could not independently verify this because Star Marie has completely scrubbed her Instagram and almost all of her social media presence. She's taken almost everything down.
Right. Star Marie got off of
the law to the facts. All of these allegations are arguably allegations of fact instead of allegations of opinion, that Cardi B was a prostitute, that Cardi B took drugs, and that Cardi B had contagious diseases. All of these fall under the slander statute, spoken libel, to show that the person has some type of contagious disorder or immoral issue. And if Cardi B can show that they're not true, she would prevail on her claim.
I'm always shopping the Real. They drop over 10,000 new arrivals every day.
From luxury brands I'm obsessed with.
Gucci, Rolex,
Prada,
Louis Vuitton,
Hermes, Cartier, Tiffany. All up to 90% off retail.
And I love that it's been on.
Now let's get into the Tasha K and Star.
I'm just wondering how long before saying somebody has herpes is no longer considered immoral. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like we're on the cusp of that being so common that it shouldn't be something that is so distasteful. But then again, I can understand why some people are like, you can't just accuse me of having an STD.
Yeah.
Like, and where do you draw the line between which STDs are okay to say someone has and which ones are not? But
Right.
I feel like the case law in this area is going to start to shift.
I think so, because, and it's not only case law, it's like Georgia, what I was quoting from is that Georgia has, and Cardi noted it in her lawsuit, Georgia has a statute on libel and slander that has a particular set aside for making statements about someone having a communicable disease.
Yep.
Or some type of moral failing. California doesn't have that, right? So these more like conservative states are like, you can't say somebody has some type of disease.
Right. Or somebody's cheated on their spouse or something like that, because that's where you get into these moral failings. And I get it in the Bible Belt why that might matter differently. I didn't realize that Cardi B saw herself as a devout Catholic until I was reading about her testimony, because she was like, no, this is why all of this hurt me so much.
Yes.
I had no idea.
The fact that she cried, you know, we don't see celebrities as people a lot of the time. So,
especially when they have a badass persona.
Yeah.
I mean, Cardi B has a badass persona.
He does.
Still a human with a heart.
But, you know, we have to, you know, there's the persona, but then if you look at how she actually lives her life, she's a married woman with children.
Yep. and seems to deeply care about her community and love her family. Yeah. I mean, she's trending today. I couldn't find anything on court today because she offered to pay for all of the victims of the fire in the Bronx today.
I know.
And so she's in the middle of this trial that's caused her significant emotional distress. And she's like, right, but what about them?
Yeah.
That says a lot to me about someone.
Yeah, you're not going to look too good to the jury when this person's like, yeah, look, I know that for my job, I dance in skimpy clothes. I get it, you know, but I'm a mom and a wife. And when I go home, I live a pretty normal life. And I don't want people saying I have herpes.
Yep.
Or that I'm a prostitute.
Yep.
Now, the judge.
That I do coke. Or that I do Molly. Or that I do drugs. Like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, now, to be fair, because I know someone's going to watch this one day and say, she admitted to drugging men, right? Those are not a part of these allegations.
Nope.
Tasha K's, Cardi B's lawsuit does not say Tasha K said that I drugged men, and that's a lie. Because if Tasha K has ever said that, it couldn't be part of the lawsuit because Cardi B said, whether jokingly or not, she since said that she was joking, she wasn't being serious. But whatever the case may be, people can take you at your word. That's the risk of speaking out in public. That, you know, I would get guys drunk, slip a little something in their drink, and then steal their stuff, right? That's what she said. She now says that's not true. So she couldn't sue anyone for re-saying the things that she said about herself. But what is a part of the lawsuit are instances in which she said, I never said that about myself. This is someone else saying this about me, and it's actually not true.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, on the motion for summary judgment, where the judge dismissed Tasha K's countersuit, he said he could not dismiss as to the claims of prostitution because of things that Cardi has said in the past. A jury could believe that she had been a prostitute, or could believe that she held herself out to have been a prostitute. I think that could be the stripper stuff. Because I don't think she's ever said I used to be a prostitute. I think she called herself a stripper hoe, right?
Right. And it's like, could a jury decide on fact if she had ever said, like, I was getting with, I don't know if she did, but getting with people for their money or whatever, somebody could, how does somebody interpret that?
Yeah.
One way or the other. Do you interpret that as choosing to be with someone because they're wealthy versus choosing to be with someone because they're ripped or attractive? Or could it be taken as she's actually selling herself for money and in the legal way? So it's, I can see why the judge said maybe there's a factual determination here. I think once the jury watches all these videos from Tasha K, they're going to be like, no, I'm horrified by what you said. Tasha K's testimony is horrible for her. And the jury's going to be like, I can't stand you. And I feel for Cardi B.
She's so, and she's so, and within this, Tasha K comes, I'm not saying Tasha K is a person because I don't know her at all. But in this lawsuit, in the things that she said about Cardi B that, you know, I detailed throughout this whole video. It's so mean that you're not going to come across well when you're the mean guy, the bad guy, the antagonist. it's going to be really, really hard for you to come across well for a jury. And so you're going to hope that a judge will give it to you in summary judgment and say, this is all protected by the First Amendment. And he didn't.
He did not.
He didn't. So now you're in a really precarious position. Mrs. Kick, we're just going to play a couple more minutes of this, and then I'd love to move on to Emily's recitation or remembrance of the testimony thus far. Just a few more minutes of this.
Set this entire lawsuit off.
Garnered 3 million views on YouTube. In the interview, and I've watched the interview, it's online, and I will provide a screenshot of it here. Tasha K asked Star Marie Jones, you said that Cardi B prostituted herself? Answer, yes. Was she a drug user? Yes. Cocaine and Molly, to be specific? Yes. She has herpes? Yes. So you were living with her at the time and she had herpes outbreaks in her mouth? Yes.
So there was a lot that you spilled. You said that Cardi B prostituted.
Yes.
She was a drug user.
Yes.
Cocaine and Molly, to be specific.
Yes.
Okay. She has herpes.
Yes.
All right.
Now, I don't want to get too much into Tasha K's defenses, but at this particular time, this interview more implicates Star Marie Jones than it does Tasha K. Because if Star Marie knows that her statements are false, it doesn't necessarily mean that Tasha K knows that the statements are false. So at this point, for these particular statements, Tasha K, who is publishing the statements, would have a defense that the statement publication was not malicious because she did not know that it was false. But there will be some additional information forthcoming which might defeat that potential defense.
Okay, we can pause
There
there.
is also a question.
So obviously the additional information that came out, which was that Cardi B reached out to her and said, this is not real. Please retract. Please stop saying this. And she kept saying it. Not just like didn't take it down, kept saying it afterwards. Before we get to you, Emily, I just want to address something that was in the chat because I want to make sure that people are clear on this, and that's the good thing about a live stream.
Love that about a live stream.
Yeah, this is what. Yeah, I just want to make sure that you guys understand that I am not endorsing if Cardi B did in fact drug men and steal their money. I'm not endorsing that, and if she did that, she should have paid for that. Within the law, within the statute of limitations. What I'm saying is that just because someone commits a crime or admits to committing a crime or does something immoral does not mean that they lose the right to the protections of the law, and you don't have the right to slander that person. And that's something we have to all be careful of. Like, just because you may not like a person doesn't mean that you can say things about them that are knowingly false and defamatory and slanderous. Like, you have to be very careful about that type of stuff. Stick to the facts. Like, Cardi B said she drugged and stole from men, then, that's bad enough in and of itself.
I mean, there's stuff there to work with. If you want to talk shit on Cardi B, there's stuff there to work with.
Yeah.
She said things, and Cardi B pops off on social media.
Yes.
Pull from the stuff she said, pull from the stuff she's done. But just because she's said and done stuff doesn't mean you get to defame her.
No, exactly. And it doesn't mean, like, for example, I don't agree with the things that Tasha K said about Cardi B. It doesn't mean that I get to defame Tasha K. You know what I'm saying? Like, make up things about her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get to do that. She deserves the same protection under the law that we all deserve to not have people defame our character in public. So that's all I'm trying to say, guys. And also, please, because I can almost see it. Do not block anybody that does not like Cardi B. That is okay. They can dislike Cardi B.
Yep, exactly. I mean, Cardi B has picked fights with people. There's stuff Cardi B does. That's fine. Still don't get to defame somebody. There are plenty of media personalities I don't like. But you can still say, no, what's happening to that person's wrong. And I think that's something that's missing right now. It's like standing up, like Ethan Klein. I talk about his lawsuit a lot. There are things he says on his YouTube channel, jokes that he's made. There are things that he said that are horrible. I don't agree with. However, it doesn't mean the lawsuit against him is okay, proper, or right. And both of those things can exist at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. And there's no HIPAA violation. So if, in fact, Cardi B did have herpes, and that was not a lie that Tasha K was telling, like an outright, she knew it was a lie because Cardi repeatedly told her and disclosed her test results to her before the case went to trial, but she would not retract and she would not settle. Oh, sweetums.
Fred is just dying for attention. And
I saw his tail
on me until he gets attention.
Oh.
He's going to knock things over. He's going to bounce. As you see my mic moving, it's because he's banging it with his head. He's like, now I need attention now.
Yes. Yeah. So just because, you know, I lost my train of thought because I love the cat. Sorry. But either way, HIPAA. Yep. There's someone else finding out about your health status that is not a healthcare worker that treated you and telling that to other people is not a HIPAA violation. HIPAA only applies to healthcare workers who treat you. They cannot disclose your medical status and information without your consent, your prior written consent, okay?
The nurses at UCLA who disclosed some of Brittany's documents when she was on a 5150 hold. That's a violation. Somebody who happens to be at the hospital and walks by and sees Britney Spears and is like, Britney's at the hospital. Not a violation.
Not a violation. Perfectly said. Thank you. So I just wanted to make sure that we cleared that up because I forgot that whenever you say anything about healthcare, HIPAA comes up. And HIPAA is wildly
doesn't apply here. And Cardi B didn't have to disclose her medical records. She could have just testified. She could have just said, I don't have herpes. It's not going to be as strong for her case. So she brought in a doctor who I think is her psychologist or psychiatrist, but I believe she disclosed those records as part of, they were listed on her 1,000+ document listing their exhibits.
Yes. Awesome.
Oh God, no purple hair. This is old.
Yeah.
I don't even have my chair in the background yet. This is old. Like I was still rearranging my office old.
Yeah. So,
blast from the past.
But you covered it so succinctly and so well. So that's why I pulled that one up. Yeah. But before we get to that, I would just love to, if you can update us on the testimony that we have had thus far.
Oh, do you want to get into all of it?
Please.
Make us big because I want to see your reaction. If you don't mind, I want to see your reaction to some of this. Okay. So do you want to talk about Cardi or Tasha K first?
Cardi first. Cardi testified first, right?
Cardi testified. Well, Tasha K testified first.
Oh, Cardi called her.
The Cardi B called Tasha K, and I believe they called her to start establishing foundation for the videos that they were going to use in their case.
Because they were her videos.
Yep, they were her videos, not a criminal trial. So the attorneys do opening statements, and then Cardi B's lawyers look over and go, our first witness is Tasha K. Get on up there, boo. We got some questions.
Oh, I know they didn't see that coming. Go for it. Go.
I know they didn't see those coming. So let me pull up. I'm using some of an article so I don't mess anything up that comes from Law 360, and I love them. Tasha K said on the stand that I knew that shit was fake. I wanted the money. This is my business. This is called ratings. Lying about Cardi B is my business. Girl. Yep.
Wait, hold on. Give me a second, though. Mm-hmm. That's not the first time she said that, Emily.
I don't think it is the first time she said that. I think it's in a video as well.
I got it in my video. I knew the shit was fake.
So I don't think she can get around it. She also said they brought the Instagram post up where she said, keep sending lies. I'll watch them too.
Yes.
But they asked her why she was doing this. And she said, I have an agency that's watching me. They want to see good numbers every month. All of this is publicity. This is fun for me. They brought up the fact that.
Wait a minute.
No! Where'd
Are
she
you
go?
serious? No.
But we're getting so juicy.
Are you serious right now? Where is she? Okay. What's happening?
She's frozen.
She's frozen. Listen.
I was trying to figure out what happened. I was like, what happened?
I almost jumped out of my skin. I was on tenterhooks listening to you.
I didn't know what happened. I was like, what happened? What happened? I'm worried that my cat has done something wrong and unplugged something. So because that would happen. So Tasha K did not do herself any favors in the videos she's put out or in her testimony. I will say to her credit, she was honest. And she knew these things were in videos. She didn't seem to try to explain them. She seemed to say, I said that. And this is, again, when she's on the stand again now, and maybe now she's going to be explaining it with her lawyers doing the direct examination. But this was Cardi B's lawyers doing the direct examination. They're paused because there's an evidentiary issue, and I will get into that in a minute. So she really went there. The article, the reporting from those in the courtroom said that Tasha K got in hot water while answering questions from Cardi's counsel because she was not answering yes or no, and they were treating her as a hostile witness. And the court said, I'm really getting tired of you doing that. Don't do it again. It's not helpful to anybody. It delays the trial. It sometimes causes an objection to be made, and it causes me to be concerned. So don't do it. So she was already getting admonished to the judge. Then
in front of the jury.
Then the judge warned her attorneys about motioning at her while she was on the stand. The judge said, I've seen you at times shaking your head yes and no. To the extent it's unintentional, I need you to be more aware. So had to admonish her attorneys who were being like, right. Her attorneys are not done getting in hot water. They're not.
I'm sorry, I have to, because something you said before, when she said, this makes so much sense now. Because the thing that has been really needling at me, number one, why hasn't she settled?
Right.
She's crazy. This is a terrible case for her. If she loses on one of the allegations, she's paying money.
Which she will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it'll at least be the herpes one. It could also be the prostitution one.
I think the IIED claim.
With the
IIED is a slam dunk not just that, with also they're almost going with like a harassment being called herpes B and how much stress the constant defamation caused her. And then the false light, I think, is stronger maybe too than the defamation. So on those, I mean, even if she won, even if in a weird scenario she won the defamation, she's going to lose the IIED and the false light, and she's going to pay.
IIED, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Yep. There's no way that she doesn't, because she has said before, I can't believe she testified to this. I knew the shit was fake. It's in my video, guys. Go find it. It's like towards the end. I have the audio clip of it. I knew the shit was fake, but it gets ratings. Okay, so the questions I had to myself, why are you doing this? Why don't you settle this case? And number two, how is she affording the defense for this? Because she doesn't have a lawsuit anymore. So it's not a contingency fee. She has to pay these people, right? If she had a lawsuit still and they're like, okay, we don't need payment because we know you're going to win your lawsuit. You don't need to put anything down. We're going to get some money from that, right? We'll take the risk. There's no way in this case. They took a retainer from her. They have billable hours. She's paying them, right? How is she a YouTuber? Now, granted, a very successful YouTuber, right? But a YouTuber nonetheless, affording to pay for this defense in this against a multi-millionaire. She could be a single millionaire for all I know. She could be a really high thousandaire. I don't know. But she ain't got enough money to defend herself against Cardi B. She has a company. She has a management company that is taking a percentage of her money. And they have probably paid for this for her. She
could have insurance as well.
Okay, she could have that.
Possibly. But she said, this was from a post that they brought up. I have an agency watching me. This is all publicity. And it's possible that they're helping her in this, saying, fight for your content.
It has to be. It has to be. And they have to think that the amount of eyes that will go on her videos on YouTube will be worth it. It'll pay off in the end. Sure, we'll pay this, no big deal. She'll move on to the next scandal. She'll get millions of views. Her name is in the national. This has to be it, because I can't see why you wouldn't settle this case and how you're affording this defense. I just can't see it otherwise. I don't even think that attorneys on an insurance plan would take on a case of this nature.
Maybe not. She told the jurors that she thinks it's funny to say that people have sexually transmitted infections, including AIDS, and says that if they were reckless in becoming infected, then that's fine. Mm-hmm.
Say it again, Emily.
The reports say Tasha K told jurors she thinks it's funny to say that people have sexually transmitted infections, even AIDS, particularly if they were reckless in becoming infected.
But if it's not true, then they weren't reckless in becoming infected.
Correct. You're reckless in saying it.
And how much are you offending the people on the jury? You don't know what their status is.
Uh-huh.
Or their loved one's status are. They can have
it's really this kind of modern day slut shaming of like, oh, well, Cardi B's persona is this, so of course she has STDs. Like, it's this whole, it kind of puts a picture around how she sees other women, I think.
She must have it. She has to have it because I say so. Horrible. Yep. Keep going.
Yep, horrible. So, and then she gets in trouble with the judge, and that's really the end of that. But they're in more trouble because the trial had to pause for evidence review yesterday. And there are no updates from today because today was Brittany's day in court. So I'm not surprised. But the defense, it looks like, was trying to pull some stuff up that might violate the pretrial orders.
Ooh.
The judge told Tasha K's lawyers to outline all the evidence they plan to introduce in the trial before they left court Tuesday so Cardi B's team could review it. And the court said, frankly, quote, frankly, it's remarkable to me that we've reached a point where we are mid-trial during the defendant's case, and I've got to have the defendant tell us exactly what it wants to introduce, the judge said from the bench after the jury was excused. Defense counsel is asking plaintiff to tell them what's in there that's objectionable. Come on, that's not the way this works.
No.
The judge continued to tell Tasha K's lawyers, the judge said that if Tasha K's lawyers had expressed any degree of certainty that none of the defense evidence violates the pretrial order, he would have let them continue to introduce the video and audio exhibits. But he said that the attorneys for Tasha K wanted Cardi B's lawyers to instead point out anything that violated the orders.
No. That's not
how that works. The judge said, maybe you don't care because if it comes in, the plaintiff is left making the decision about whether they want a mistrial or an instruction to the jury to disregard the bad stuff, the judge told the attorneys. I want all the material you intend to play with as much specificity as required, given to the plaintiff so the plaintiff can review it. And then the court was delayed today.
Wow.
So the attorneys are trying to pull something, and the court is not happy. Cardi B's testimony was actually really sad because she talks about the fact that she wanted to take her own life, that she was having anxiety attacks, and really that she was having PTSD from being cyberbullied and cyber harassed, and that in the first time in her life, and she outlines, like, I grew up in the Bronx, I grew up poor, I was beaten up by boyfriends, I had no money, I worked at a restaurant, I got fired for coming late to work, like hashtag relatable. And so the manager at work was like, you keep showing up late, so we're going to fire you, so maybe you should go dance across the street. And literally was like, maybe you should go try out across there, I don't know if they care if you're late. And that's when she started dancing. And so she lines out her life and all of the things she's overcome, the bad relationships, the rise to fame. And she's like, this brought me literally to my knees. This is when I, didn't think I deserved my daughter, was worried that I had hurt her, and needed therapy and needed help. And it was really, really relatable testimony about someone who's being bullied. And then she talked about how hard it was to be in the courtroom rewatching these videos of Tasha K that are now evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about the juror that got excused?
No, I did not. Oh my God.
At the end of last week, one of the jurors could not help herself but to talk about the case with the other jurors. Had to do a little chitty chat.
You cannot do that, guys.
Every day, the judge says you cannot discuss the case with anyone until all the evidence is in and the arguments are done and jury instructions are read. You cannot talk to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking about how horrible she thought the Tasha K videos were and how appalled she was by Tasha K. And the judge said, I'm not worried essentially about what she said. I'm worried that she didn't follow my instructions.
Right.
And that's the problem. So let me read exactly what the judge said.
That's very telling, though.
Yes.
That you're not worried about what she said. He's saying, he's like, we all think what she said was horrible and disgusting.
His quote was the juror was obviously disturbed by either the fact that the child was in the home when the defendant was engaging in the type of language that she was using in the video that they were watching,
Yeah.
which is obviously pretty typical of her performances, or possibly that she dealt with her child in the manner that she did. The judge said, well, the jurors were out of the room. The judge then said, like probably everyone who heard that video felt that way. So the telling the attorneys, all the jurors feel this way, but the problem is that this juror talked about it. And because this juror talked about it, the judge let that juror go for not following the instructions. But the judge was telling the defense, everybody thinks that video is shit. Apparently, she's yelling at her child in the video. She's talking shit on Cardi B and then yelling at her kid while drinking. Here, I'll give you the description of the video.
Please.
In the video, Tasha K appeared to be drinking wine at home during the day while her daughter was in the next room doing her schoolwork remotely, and she was heard speaking harshly to the child.
And then also, she has to be talking about Cardi B.
And otherwise, it's not evidence. Yep.
The irony of you talking about before Cardi B even had the chance to become a mother, she was pregnant, her child was not here yet. The irony of you saying she's a bad mother for her past and for doing her job, which is touring and performing. And then you record yourself day drinking.
While your kid's distance learning.
While your kid is distance learning, shit talking a person you don't know and yelling at your kid and then putting it on the internet.
And then putting it on the internet.
And now it is fodder for a trial in which you are accused of slandering someone, libeling them, inflicting emotional distress intentionally. The irony of that.
To the point where a juror could not hold in how much they disliked.
Yeah.
Okay. And they had to talk about it.
Okay.
I mean, this jury also had a potential COVID-19 exposure. And the judge talked to each of them individually, and all of them were like, no, continue with the trial. Because of course they did. Most jurors would be like, oh yeah, no, I'm out. I'm so worried about this. This jury was like, I'm here. I'm here. I do not care. I am here.
Okay.
You know they feel some kind of way.
Let me give you guys some insight into that. When your jurors do not want to get off the jury, when they're trying to stay there, they're going to send a message to somebody. And it's not Cardi B.
Nope.
They're going to send a message to somebody. Somebody asked, what is the, someone said, we don't all day drink from time to time. Listen,
look,
I'm not judging the day
I'm not judging the day drinking.
I'm not.
You just don't want that shit to end up in your trial where your character is on trial and you are yelling at your child.
Yeah. Like, chill. I mean, she yells all the time. That's probably just how she speaks in her house. She is a constant yeller, but it's not the day drinking that's the issue. It's just the irony of the overall picture.
Yep.
After all the things you had to say about someone being a bad mother simply because she was performing on stage. That's so, to me, like, as a woman in 2022, that's so disgusting. That's how that woman makes her money. Be quiet.
Yep.
So, no, but I was going to say, someone asked this. It's a really, really good question. The importance of the jurors not talking to each other, right? It's because they haven't had all the evidence. They start talking to each other, they're going to start like deliberating, basically, right?
Yep.
And they
you see it in your chat, right? If you're just reading one side of the lawsuit and people are like, oh shit, that person's this, that, and then you read the response and they're like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't think about this part. You got to hear both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to hear both sides. You have to. All right, keep going. Oh, you're muted.
My cat's climbing on my computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't want you to hear me snapping. So the jury had a potential exposure. It was kind of tenuous. The judge independently polled the jurors. All the jurors are like, we are continuing with this trial. So they are invested. The defense attorney should be very, or the defense, you know what? Maybe they don't care. Maybe the defense attorney is looking at their client going, you're going to lose. And their client's like, I don't care. I don't care. This is fun for me. This is how I make my money. I don't care if I lose.
Someone else is paying. I am convinced. They've been paid, so they don't give a crap, right?
So they don't care if they've been paid. And there's no way you go to trial without getting paid first.
No.
Paid first. You do not start trial if you've not been paid.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So they for sure have gotten paid, so they don't care. The check's cleared, and I don't think she paid for it. I've been thinking that, and I'm just wondering, like, who did the paying? It has to be the management company, the agency, whoever it is. We need to hydrate.
Maybe I definitely always need to hydrate. So there's other articles from those who have been watching the trial saying that the jury has been visibly affected by watching Tasha K's video. So whoever's in court can see that they're kind of like, this is more than they're used to. And the videos are more strongly worded, perhaps, than they're used to. And, you know, it's pretty, if we're going to be fair, here it is. Okay. It's pretty gross, the things that she said. I'm going to take a quick little break, and not like a real break. What I'm saying is we're going to go back to my video, and at 27, I found the timestamp, 27:55, Mrs. Kick, back to the video that I did from last year. Please go to 27 minutes and 55 seconds so you can get an example of how gross the things that Tasha was saying out of her own mouth. Because I did a lot of summaries and things like that, and we heard from Star Marie. Let's hear from Tasha. Let's hear from Tasha.
Mm-hmm.
A way of a test. Cardi B has asked for discovery.
Is that 27:55?
Which is why I can see the filings, but I can't see the discovery that was filed.
Close enough.
And they may have be able to test for whether or not she has these contagious diseases. And if she doesn't, and Tasha K said that she did with a reckless disregard for the truth, then Tasha K would be liable for defamation, libel, slander, and false light.
On September 21st of 2020, Tasha K published a video stating that Cardi B is a prostitute.
She mad because I call her a prostitute.
Is an adulterer.
She done milked his. That's not she for somebody else.
Also, Tasha K admitted in this same video that, quote, I make up stories out of thin air.
I make up stories out of thin air. Tasha just make up stories.
End quote. I knew the S was fake. I knew they was MFing fake, the story. I'm going to put the BS out anyway. I knew it was fake and I still made it go viral. If you continue to send me fake stories on you, I'm going to air them as they are.
I knew it was fake, and guess what? Because I knew it was fake, guess what? I still made that go viral.
So keep sending me the lies.
That video is what prompted Cardi B.
Yep.
So another thing that I forgot to bring up that was a factor in the lawsuit was that Cardi, you can bring us back to full screen. Cardi alleged that Tasha K was calling her an adulterer and saying that Cardi was cheating on her husband with no evidence of that. Like none whatsoever. Yep. And there are several videos where she's like, you cheat on your husband, you're a whore, you were sleeping with some other man, I have this source. And then when people were telling her, okay, we'll produce the source. Oh, I make up stories.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you say this?
You can't do that though. That's defamation. And during opening statements, her defense attorney said, essentially context is everything. You're just going to have to watch the videos. I think people are going to watch the videos and be like, but you said that shit. So I think the defense has just been like, our client wants to go to trial. We go to trial. We've been paid. But that's no reason to piss off the judge.
No
evidence that should be done. It's just, this whole thing's been messy. The judge has been yelling at the defense attorneys the whole time. I wonder if Tasha K is going to turn around and sue her attorneys for ineffective assistance or something and be like, no, they didn't advise me that this was going to go this way. It's like the judge has been yelling at them the entire time. It's just really a wild case to take to trial. You know, I've covered cases where YouTubers have made substantially more videos than Tasha K made on Cardi B. And when you actually see them go to trial, maybe it will give some boundaries for those on YouTube who are just like, I can say whatever I want and claim I have a source. No, you can't. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
And I wonder if at the end of this, Tasha K loses her YouTube channel. That's what I wonder.
So that's what I wanted to ask about next. Let's move on to that. Okay.
Sure.
Unless we've got more awesome facts.
That's kind of a culmination of what's going on. I don't know what happened in court today or if they're still dealing with the evidentiary issues. I mean, I'm sure Cardi B's lawyers are like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no.
Are you kidding me that we are in the defense case and this is what we're dealing with? I would have thought before they took this pause that they might close this week. I think if this jury's already chomping at the bit, this jury could go back and be like, can we just vote? Guilty, guilty, guilty. Good. How much money are we giving? Because punitive damages is in there, which means punishment damages.
Oh, she's definitely going to get hit with punitive damages. Okay.
They're mad.
Questions. Okay, so I've got two. The first one is, what are the wider implications for YouTube? You got there before me, you smarty McSmarterson.
We always think about the platform. Think about the platform.
Yeah. Think about the platform. No, but seriously, there are first of all, let's start with Tasha K's own channel, right? How does Tasha K keep a YouTube channel where she has admitted under oath that she uses it as a tool to lie about people knowingly?
No. If I'm Cardi B's attorneys, after I get this judgment, I am waiting for the official copy from the court. I am writing a strongly worded letter to YouTube and saying, this is what has happened. This needs to come down. Yeah. That's exactly, if I was Cardi B's attorneys, that's what I would do. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Cardi B's fans also called on YouTube to be like, okay, it's played out in court. How do you leave this up?
Yeah.
I don't know how they do as a platform because it goes against all of the creator codes of conduct. It goes against terms of service. So now you have a court saying this creator violated terms of service.
Right.
So I would be surprised if YouTube leaves her channel up and just was like, oh, take down the offending videos. I'd be surprised based on how extreme of an example this case is.
Could YouTube become liable for publishing this libel after there's a court order saying that this stuff you have on your platform is libel and you know it?
I don't know. I think 230 protections would still apply and it would be very hard to go after YouTube for that, but it would definitely change the world of how YouTube regulates YouTube if they could be sued. I think that it would be a very bad look for YouTube because YouTube's constantly getting flamed for allowing harassment on the platform. And now you have this went to trial. You can't allow it. Also, Cardi B, how many millions of subscribers on YouTube does Cardi B have? Like 15 million?
Yeah.
Her channel also brings money into YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think there's got to be some repercussions for a court saying you violated terms of service. I think there has to be something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what if one YouTuber decided, say they're not celebrities, but just one YouTuber just woke up one day and decided to start a smear campaign on another YouTuber.
And it happens.
All the time.
All the time.
I mean, someone tried it with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
people tried it with me.
Yeah, if you have a platform, someone's going to start putting up. Now, we don't want people getting shut down left and right for no reason, but how much do they tolerate? Where's the line? And what enforces that line? I think these are all good questions. I don't want to see YouTube get sued. I don't want to see that. You know what I mean?
No, they're a platform. And then it's like, okay, well, if YouTube gets sued, does Twitter get sued for things people tweet? Does Facebook get sued for things people say? Do you sue the speaker? Do you sue the platform? I mean, I rather see it that if YouTube took my channel down, I have a recourse against YouTube for shutting me down as a speaker. Yeah. I'd rather see that than a third party suing YouTube because of something I said. I'm sure I've offended people. I have purple hair and I say curse words all the time. They let me know in the comments if they're offended. I let them know they can keep going. But, you know, if I had recourse, I'm okay with that. If a third party has recourse, it's different. But there's a court order here and YouTube has to be aware of this. Yeah. So at some point when the platform has to proactively take action, when everybody says, can you please just review this? I'm saying review it. Because there are channels that make all of their content harassing others. And is that the environment YouTube wants for its advertisers? Because at the end of the day, it wants advertiser-friendly content.
Right.
Is harassment advertiser-friendly?
Yeah. I mean, the vid is not advertiser-friendly, but
Correct.
you can disparage a baby that's not been born yet, and that's advertiser-friendly.
Right. I can't talk about the trial of G. Maxwell.
Oh, no.
Safely. Can't talk about any of it. And it affects all of us. That is a trial going on in court. And not even talking about the allegations, but just talking about what's happening in court and jurors running amok. But
you're demonetized. Yep. And not only that, you're demonetized, and then your video won't get as many views because they don't want people to see it.
Nope.
The same thing with I call him Jodo, but one of the 19 kids and counting. You bring him up, and I'm like, Jodo. You bring him up, and they're like, get this video out of here.
Yep, you're done.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, these are things happening in the world. We need to talk about the laws and how the laws work, and we need to talk about federal sentencing and the fact that you can't stack lesser included crimes. People need to understand these things.
Yes, most certainly.
Yep.
Most certainly. Wow.
But I think she could. I think she could lose her channel. I would be surprised if she doesn't. She got taken down. What I learned in this trial that I didn't know is she got taken off of Instagram 3 times.
Yeah,
and apparently she's block banned. She's block evading on Instagram. She could lose her Instagram too, I think. It would be very interesting to see what Cardi B's lawyers do after this, because I imagine they will go to the platforms next. And Cardi B has enough sway to do that. Everybody else might not.
Yeah. I think she was taken off of Twitter at one point in time. I don't know if she's back. But I know that back when I made the video last year, she was definitely taken off Twitter because I was trying to find her on there and she was gone.
She was taken off of Instagram 3 times for harassing content.
Wow. That is very, very concerning. Like, you can be a gossip blogger. There are plenty of them on YouTube.
There's ways to gossip without defaming.
Without defaming, you know? It's actually, there's like a formula for it, you know?
I think Perez Hilton kind of tailed that line where he regularly went too far, but it wasn't defamatory too far. It was distasteful too far. It was offensive too far, but it wasn't always defamatory too far. Sometimes it was.
This is like off topic. I can't help it though.
We love it off topic.
Yeah. Well, my number one problem with Perez Hilton was, as a gay person himself, outing other gay people and thinking that it was like, but you have to live in your truth. That is none of your business.
Nope.
That is none of your business.
Not at all.
You know, and like the things he said about like the mentally ill celebrities that went on to harm themselves or pass away untimely. He said some very terrible things about people, and it was like almost like he would pick a celebrity and just go after them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he wouldn't defame.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. With speech, there's these boundaries of stuff that's horrific. And you're like, that's disgusting. Why would you say that? It's like, agreed, but also you can. Defamation is fairly specific. And there's a difference. Internet harassment laws have come a long way since the early days of Perez Hilton.
Yeah.
Of Perez Hilton.
Yeah. Yeah, it has come a long way, and the courts have seriously defined, like, you know, what's like malicious lies, like, you know that you're lying about the person. Okay, so I am going
normally hard to prove unless you're Tasha K and you tell on yourself.
And you tell on yourself. And okay, so let me give my little example of why this case like fascinates me so much. I said that I would do that at the beginning, and now we are here at the end. Okay.
This is Ebony Man 2K. Please put your screen on full view. Please put your screen on full view. Now, what you see on screen now is the YouTube performance of Tasha K from the period of January the 7th to January the 20th of this year. So it gives you a current picture of how she's performing on YouTube. This is provided by the website socialblade.com. Socialblade.com is a partner with YouTube, and they put together statistics and graphs of performance of YouTube channels. And we're going to look at Unwind with Tasha K, starting with this information that we have on screen now. So what you see on screen is current activity or current performance of Tasha K. If you look at the bottom of the page, it gives you her daily average, her weekly average, and her numbers for the past 30 days. You can see that on a daily basis, she gains 400 on average, 434 subs a day. Okay, 400 new subs a day. As far as views, she gets a little over 100,000 views per day currently. Now, this is at the height of her case. So these numbers reflect I guess you would consider the best period of time in which she's getting a lot of publicity. Okay. So again, on a daily basis, she gets over 400 subs a day and also a little over 100,000 views per day. For the last 30 days, that comes up to be 13,000 new subs, a little over 3 million views, and an estimated earnings of $12,000. Okay. So for the last 30 days, Social Blade has estimated that she has earned $12,000. Okay. So just quickly, if we want to say 12 times 12, so that means that TASHA K makes about $144,000 a year, maybe a little bit more. If we add in her direct sponsors that don't come through AdSense, they probably pay her a little bit more, as well as any other earnings she gets from maybe membership, subscriptions, or whatnot. TASHA K probably makes a little over $200,000 a year. Okay, if you take in AdSense estimates, as well as her direct earnings from other sponsors and any other miscellaneous membership subscriptions, TASHA K makes a little over $200,000 a year. So just keep that number in mind. So TASHA K makes good money, but she does not make millionaire type money. Okay, she's not on the level of Cardi B. So I just want you to keep these numbers in perspective as we move forward. Okay, just to validate my estimates, please take a look on screen right now. This is TASHA K's current home, and the current market value of her home is $560,000. When she bought it 2 years ago, she and her husband actually purchased it for $380,000. I know for a fact that a property like this, you have to be making at least $150,000 to $200,000 a year in household income to afford a property such as this. I'm basing this on my own personal experience in buying properties in this price range. So this home, estimated at $560,000, purchased at $380,000, coincides with the estimated income you have to obtain this. As I mentioned before, socialblade.com estimates TASHA to be earning $12,000 in AdSense revenue to give her a total of $144,000. I added a little bit more to that when you take in consideration money gained from other major sponsors, as well as member subscriptions and other miscellaneous forms of revenue. Like I said before, I think I'm pretty much confident that TASHA K is making somewhere around $200,000, a little bit more than that a year. But I just want to submit this as some form of proof that the property that she owns, as you see here on the screen, coincides with the estimated earnings that I came up with at around a little over $200,000 a year for TASHA K. Well, okay, if you look on screen now, you see two graphs provided by socialblade.com. These graphs are the first graph is monthly gained video views of TASHA K. This is from the period of March 2019 to current day. Below that is another graph of the monthly gained subscribers for TASHA K for that same period. Okay, if you look at the graph, okay, if you look at the far right, you'll see the current number of gained videos, which I said for the last 30 days is around 3 million. But you can see that even though she's getting a lot of publicity now, Her 3 million views per month is no different than any other month going back all the way to March of 2019. She's actually had other peers that had more views than she has now. You can see that the numbers kind of up and down, but for the most part, the number of views that she's getting on a monthly basis right now is par for the course. It is par for the course. Also, remember that posting she did on her attorney, that bad review that she did of summer of last year, 2021, where you can see that starting like, I would say around March, it was going up at the time in which she was countersuing Cardi B, right? You can see that big incline going up around March of 2021. But guess what? When the judge said that there's no case here, her popularity or her support went down. Her number of views took a deep dive, and you can see where I have the arrow showing that as the build up of her countersuit of Cardi B went on, once she found that there was no case, the interest of TASHA K went down. You can see the sharp incline starting around April, May of last year, and subsequently, that's when she wrote that bad review about her attorney, because obviously she responded negatively from not being able to sue Cardi B. And you can see the lack of interest that went down from that point going all the way to present day. In actuality, even though she's getting a lot of publicity now, she's on a downslope. TASHA K is actually on a downslope right now. Then let's look at her subs on the graph that we have right below that. You can see the response even in subs after she tried to countersue Cardi B last summer. Just like her views went down subsequently, so did her number of subs. Okay. Right now, she's getting all this publicity, but her number of subs over the past couple of months are no different than her number of new subs over the past year. All right, so let's look at this graph here, and it shows that the current state of TASHA K does not reflect any type of peak in interest that she's claimed she's getting now. Her number of video views right now and her number of subs right now are par for the course. They are no different than any other month of the past year. Let's keep that in mind as I move forward to my conclusion on how I think TASHA K may be a little delusional and short-sighted in thinking that losing this case is going to give her gain. TASHA K has to be delusional or short-sighted to think that losing this case is going to give her empathy from the general public and she's going to gain from this. Because there's nothing I see historically that says that that is the case. As a matter of fact, her numbers say otherwise. Okay, if you look on screen now, you will see the conclusion on my thoughts on the motives of TASHA K in this defamation case against Cardi B. It is my conclusion that TASHA K is either delusional or short-sighted to think that losing this defamation case will bring her long-term financial gain. Listed below is the summary of potential losses for TASHA K. She may lose her YouTube channel for violation of terms of service. She may lose major sponsors and her AdSense account for violation of the contract. She may lose subs, daily viewers, and also daily views because of the lack of general public credibility. She has a strong chance to face lawsuits from other celebrities who were damaged in the same way like Cardi B immediately after this current lawsuit. Now, TASHA K would have to start earning 12 times more than what she is making now, which is estimated to be around $250,000 a year, to reasonably recoup the $10 million she would have to pay Cardi B in damages in the loss of this case. Her drop in numbers after the rejection of her countersuit against Cardi B last year should serve as a precursor that this will not happen. Man, check this out. Now, Tasha K went from hot shit, then Tasha K went to that sugar. Now Tasha K right back to hot shit, y'all. She right back to hot shit. Damn, Tasha. You supposed to be wiping your ass with the cease and desist. What happened, girl? See, what had happened was